The 2026 FIFA World Cup gave us unforgettable moments. But hidden inside those moments was something millions of fans completely missed. While defenders were sprinting, while midfielders were chasing every loose ball, one of football's deadliest strikers often looked like he wasn't even trying. Erling Haaland. There were moments when he simply walked. No panic, no endless running, just slow, patient movement. To the average fan, it looked lazy. But to elite coaches and defenders, it looked terrifying, because every time Haaland stopped running, he wasn't switching off. He was setting a trap, and by the time defenders realized what he was planning, it was already too late. So why would one of the fastest players in world football choose to walk instead of run? Why has this become one of the most effective tactical habits in modern football? And what did the 2026 World Cup reveal about Haaland's movement that most fans never even noticed? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand why what looks like the simplest movement on a football pitch may actually be the smartest. If you watched Erling Haaland during the 2026 FIFA World Cup, you may have noticed something that felt strange. There were moments when the ball was flying from one end of the pitch to the other. Midfielders were covering every blade of grass. Defenders were constantly adjusting their positions. And Haaland? He was often just walking. To millions of fans, it looked like he wasn't involved. In a game where intensity is everything, seeing one of the world's best strikers move so slowly can seem almost unbelievable. But football at the highest level isn't a race to see who runs the most. It's a game of timing. Elite strikers aren't judged by the number of kilometers they cover. They're judged by the moments they create. And Haaland understands that better than almost anyone. Every unnecessary sprint drains energy. Every pointless run tells defenders where you're going. So instead of chasing the ball, Haaland often lets the game unfold in front of him. While everyone else is watching the pass, he's watching the defenders. He's scanning the distance between the center backs. He's noticing which defender keeps looking at the ball instead of over his shoulder. He's waiting for one player to lose concentration even for a split second. To the crowd, it looks like he's doing nothing. In reality, he's gathering information. Because for Haaland, the goal isn't to touch the ball more than anyone else. It's to touch it once, at exactly the right moment. And that's what makes him so dangerous. The frightening part is, walking is only the beginning. The real secret lies in what Haaland is watching while everyone else is focused on the ball. Erling Haaland watches everything else. While defenders are focused on stopping the attack, Haaland is constantly scanning the pitch. Sports scientists and performance analysts call this visual scanning, the habit of repeatedly checking your surroundings before making a move. It's a skill shared by many of football's greatest players. Every few seconds, Haaland is collecting information. How high is the defensive line? Which center back is stepping forward? Who's watching the ball instead of the runner? Where will the next pass most likely go? These aren't random observations. They're clues. Instead of making constant runs that defenders can easily track, Haaland often stays calm and waits. That patience creates uncertainty. Defenders don't know whether to stay tight, step forward, or prepare for a run in behind. And that hesitation is exactly what he's looking for. The moment a defender loses focus even for a second, Haaland changes gears. From walking to one explosive sprint. His acceleration over the first few meters is among the best in world football, allowing him to attack the space before defenders have time to react. By the time they turn and chase him, he's already where the ball is about to arrive. That's why many of his goals look surprisingly simple. The finish isn't the hardest part. The hardest part happened 5 or 10 seconds earlier, when Haaland quietly positioned himself in the perfect place. To fans, it looks effortless. To defenders, it feels impossible. Because they aren't just trying to stop a striker. They're trying to stop someone who's already thinking one step ahead. And that's only half the story. The reason Haaland can explode with such incredible power is hidden in something most people never think about: the science behind why he saves his energy. Walking during a football match seems like a mistake. In reality, it's backed by sports science. Modern football is built around high-intensity actions, short, explosive sprints, powerful accelerations, sharp changes of direction, and quick reactions. These are the moments that decide games, not the minutes spent running at a steady pace. Performance analysts have found that elite forwards spend much of a match at low intensity before producing sudden bursts of maximum effort. By avoiding unnecessary runs, they preserve energy for the moments that matter most. Haaland is a perfect example of this approach. Instead of sprinting after every pass, he carefully manages his energy. That allows him to stay fresh deep into the match, when defenders are beginning to tire and lose concentration. And that's exactly when he's at his most dangerous. Imagine a center back who has already spent 80 minutes tracking runners, making tackles, and winning aerial duels. Now imagine Haaland still capable of producing a full-speed sprint into open space. That difference in energy can decide an entire match. It's one of the reasons his goals often seem so simple. The run is short, the finish is clean. But everything leading up to that moment has been carefully calculated. Sports scientists often describe this as energy management, using your physical resources wisely instead of wasting them. The objective isn't to run more than everyone else. It's to make your most important runs at full power. And Haaland has mastered that balance. Walking isn't a sign that he's switched off. It's part of a strategy that helps him deliver when the game reaches its biggest moments. But there's one question that still remains. If walking is so effective, why would one of football's most demanding coaches allow it? The answer begins with Pep Guardiola's tactical plan. Haaland's movement looks strange. Surely one of the most demanding coaches in football would tell him to run more. But that's not how Pep Guardiola sees the game. Pep has repeatedly explained that football isn't about running the most. It's about occupying the right spaces at the right time. In Manchester City's system, every player's movement has a purpose. Midfielders create passing lanes. Wingers stretch the pitch. Fullbacks overload key areas. And Haaland? His job is different. Instead of constantly chasing the ball, Pep often wants his striker to stay high, pin the center backs, and be ready for the decisive moment. The less Haaland moves unnecessarily, the harder he becomes to predict. If he keeps making endless runs, defenders quickly understand his patterns. But when he stays patient, they start asking questions. Is he about to run? Should I step forward? Should I stay deep? That hesitation lasts only a second. But in elite football, 1 second is enough. Because that's exactly when Haaland explodes into space. Pep has also emphasized that he doesn't judge strikers only by how many touches they have. He judges them by their impact. And Haaland's numbers speak for themselves. Despite often having fewer touches than many forwards, he consistently ranks among the world's most efficient goal scorers, turning a small number of chances into a remarkable number of goals. That's why Pep doesn't want Haaland chasing every pass across the pitch. He wants him fresh, focused, and perfectly positioned for the one opportunity that can decide the match. To the crowd, it may look like patience. To Pep Guardiola, it's tactical discipline. But if Pep loves this approach, why do defenders say Haaland is one of the most difficult strikers to mark? The answer lies in the psychological battle that begins long before he touches the ball. Ask almost any elite defender about Erling Haaland, and you'll hear the same thing. He's exhausting to play against. Not because he's constantly running, but because you never know when he's going to run. For 90 minutes, Haaland plays a psychological game. He'll walk, slow down, drift between the center backs, then disappear into a defender's blind side. That uncertainty forces defenders to stay alert every single second. Take your eyes off him for one moment, and the chance is gone. One of the biggest advantages Haaland has is his ability to attack a defender's blindside, the area just outside a defender's field of vision. Coaches around the world teach defenders to check over their shoulder repeatedly because losing sight of a striker for even a split second can be enough to concede a goal. Haaland knows this. Instead of wrestling with defenders for the entire match, he often stays just far enough away to make them wonder where he'll move next. Should they follow him? Hold their position? Step up? Or drop deeper? Every option comes with a risk. And while defenders are making that decision, Haaland has already made his. The moment a midfielder looks up to play the pass, Haaland explodes into space with one of the fastest first accelerations in world football. What looked like an ordinary walk suddenly becomes a full-speed sprint. That's why so many of his goals seem effortless. The finish lasts only a second, but the battle that created it started long before the ball reached his feet. Haaland doesn't beat defenders with tricks alone. He beats them with timing, patience, and constant uncertainty. But here's the most surprising part of all. This style isn't just impressive to watch, it produces numbers that rank among the best in modern football. The next time you watch Erling Haaland, don't just follow the ball, watch him. Watch the moments when he slows down, when he walks, when it looks like he's completely out of the game, because those are often the moments when he's thinking the most. Football isn't always won by the player who runs the hardest. Sometimes, it's won by the player who waits the smartest. And that's exactly what makes Haaland so special. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't chase every touch. He waits for the one moment that can change everything. If this video changed the way you see Haaland's game, then there's a good chance it'll change the way you watch football too. If you enjoyed this documentary, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow, and it means I can keep making deep football stories like this. And I'd love to hear your opinion. Do you think Haaland's movement makes him the smartest striker in modern football? Or is there another forward whose off-the-ball movement is even better? Leave your thoughts in the comments, I'll be reading them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next football documentary.